Now, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're connecting from. I'm excited to be on this show today. Today is Making a Difference with Sandra Uko every day. Making a difference as made. We're made to make a difference. And today we have a special guest. She's no other person than Donna herself. But before I bring her on board, I just want to tell you, introduce myself and also introduce the show, what the show is all about. My name is Sandra Oko. I'm a Maxwell Leadership Certified Team Member, coach, speaker, and trainer. I'm a member of the Toastmaster as a vice president, public relations, and also a member of a best-selling author and IT salesperson for over 20 years. And just recently, I got the Presidential Lifetime Award. I'm excited to be here today, and I'm also excited to see my guests and also our followers. Thank you so much for being on this show. Thank you. And if this has been a blessing to you, please kindly share it. It said that the leader is one who knows it and shares it with others. What do we do at making a difference every day? We bring men and women who have been through great trauma, who have gone from zero to hero, men who have gone through, turbulent moments in their life, and they're making a difference in their work, to share their story on how they all started, what worked for them, and what they need to put, what we need to learn so that we do not need to reinvent the wheel. They've been there before us, so we do not need to do the same thing that they did, and so we are able to reach our goals much earlier and faster than we. And so today I have our guest Donna, but before I bring Donna, I just want to shoot one of our commercials. So I'm excited to bring our guest in, but before I bring her in, let me quickly read her bio so you get to know her before she comes on stage. Ambassador Donna Paige Riley, also known as the Etiquette Lady, is the founder of Paige Etiquette Seminar L.L.C. and mlsdonnaspeaks.com, company specializing in personal and professional development. Just a moment. Development, training, and coaching in the areas of communication skills, public speaking, and socialization, customer service, leadership, and corporate etiquette skills, to name only a few. Donna is an inspirational and motivational speaker. She's a John Maxwell International Certified. She's a John Maxwell International Certified Level Trainer, Master Level Trainer and Coach, and a Certified DISC Personality Assessment Trainer. Donna was appointed Ambassador for Peace by the Universal Peace Federation in January 2023 and was the recipient of a Story Award from the Women's Federation for World Peace in September 2022. She is humbled and honored by both. For over 30 years, Donna has created, customized, and provided training programs, materials for youth and adults, and has traveled extensively, training and speaking around the country. Some of her clients have included the Atlanta Journal Constitution, Pepsi Cola, Kiwanis Club International, Indiana Power and Lights, Jack and Jill of America. Sorry, I just have a call coming in. I'm just trying to, cut off the call because we are in the show right now. I can't take any call now. So I have to go back to where I stopped. I have so many calls coming in now while I'm in the show. I wonder why the calls didn't come in right before the show started. But I'll just take it, I'll just keep going. She is a Spelman College, Atlanta Technical College, National Coalition of 100 Black Men, National Coalition of 100 Black Women of America, Incorporated, National Coalition of Title 1, Chapter 1 Parents Conference, YMCA, YWCA, and numerous other schools and organizations. Donna has an extensive writing background. Sorry, just a moment. I have some technical issues, but we're going to go through it. Before now, we had some, but we're overcoming by the grace of God. Donna has an extensive writing background, and she's an author and has written numerous columns and authored several books, with the most recent, which is Business Etiquette Anyway, Key Strategies for Building Successful Working Relationship in 2023, my forever affirmation book and journal, Positive Thought for All Ages. She did that in December 2022. And Kindness is Contagious Journal 2022. Donna Communications broadcasting experience includes radio newscasting, the TV show, talk show, hosting and voiceover work. She has featured guests on numerous TV shows and radio shows, and has hosted her own, what is Etiquette Anyway radio show, shown on Blog Talk radio show for over 14 years. Donna believes that proper etiquette and communication skills are essential because these skills encompass every area of our lives. And the mission of our radio show is to make the world a polite place to live. Donna's passion for working with youth stems from having low self-esteem and confidence as a youth. She was teased and bullied throughout her school years and is determined to continue to help build self-esteem and confidence in children and youth, so they do not have to experience what she did experience some years back. What she experienced some years back, and she's trying to ensure that everyone lives their life, and and the youth of this age, so they have to experience some of these heartaches, and she endured in during a time. She has volunteered her services by working with inner city youth, alternative high school, women and children ministries, and juvenile detention centers. She's also experienced corporate bullying in the marketplace, was a victim of sexual harassment. Donna's life purpose is to encourage, inspire, and add value to other lives, and to make the world a polite place to live. She encourages everyone to initiate acts of kindness and continuously promotes the golden rule: treat others the way you want them to be treated. You want to be treated. Donna served as a prayer intercessor for 15 years at the Trinity Broadcasting Network in Decatur, Georgia, until the ministry in Georgia officially ended. She often ends a kindness post with "Let love, peace, and kindness be the motivation behind all that you do." Donna acknowledges that the same person who became paralyzed by fear and cried when the teacher called on her to speak in class is the same person, with God's help, who is now speaking on multiple platforms. Awesome. I'm so excited to have her, and I'm bringing her on board. The next person you get to see is Donna herself. Hello, I'm excited to have you. And I'm glad that we're able to make it. A lot of glitches, and I know that there is a reason why we're here today. So welcome, and I also want to welcome our guests and our viewers. Thank you for being on this show. The floor is all yours, Donna, so let me give you the floor to speak. We want to hear from you to tell us your story.
Thank you. First, I want to say thank you.
Well, I don't know what's going on. We have some bit of technical challenges, but right now we will just go on, shoot some of our commercial before she comes on board.
Are you thinking of how to publish your book on Amazon, or how to get your published book to become an Amazon bestseller book? Dip Insight Books is the perfect in-between solution in transforming your ideas into a book. We can help you with all the complicated parts of publishing, such as process TO transformation. What we do: full manuscript evaluation, receive quality assurance edit, full copy edit and final proofread to remove spelling and grammar mistakes, oversee your cover design, create your interior layout, publish and distribute your book, lock down your marketing strategy. Ghostwriting, where there is no manuscript. Our goal is to help you publish your book promptly. Contact us today at 404-740-9091. Email us at info@dipinsightworld.com. To start the submission process, check us out at www.books.dipinsightworld.com and submit your details. You can visit our Facebook page at Dip Insight World.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I'll just be here.
Are you thinking of how to publish your book on Amazon or how to get your published book to become an Amazon bestseller book? Dip Insight Books is the perfect in-between solution in transforming your ideas into a book. We can help you with all the complicated parts of publishing, such as process TO transformation. What we do: full manuscript evaluation, receive quality assurance edit, full copy edit and final proofread to remove spelling and grammar mistakes, oversee your cover design, create your interior layout, publish and distribute your book, lock down your marketing strategy. Ghostwriting, where there is no manuscript. Our goal is to help you publish your book promptly. Contact us today at 404-740-9091. Email us at info@dipinsightworld.com. To start the submission process, check us out at www.books.dipinsightworld.com and submit your details. You can visit our Facebook page at Dip Insight World.
Yeah, welcome everyone. I'm so sorry, but we have to just shoot this show all the same. We've been having a lot of technical issues, but we are made to go through tough times. And it says the tough people go through tough times and they come through stronger. And I don't know what is happening on our end, our guest end, but just I want to help her, and that's why I'm shooting these commercials. So I may have to go off again, put 1 or 2 commercials so that I can attend to see how I can be of assistance to her. What's going on? Welcome to another episode of Making a Difference with Sandra Oko, a live show that brings people on the platform where we can glean from, where we alight and also celebrate and recognize leaders who dare to make a difference from all over the world for doing great things in their world. I believe there's a giant in you waiting to be discovered in a nest. You have within you right now all that you need to become that change agent and best version of you that God has made you to be. It is time to ignite you and discover your greater potential and to see the possibilities that exist within you to maximize your potential through this unique platform for mentoring and coaching, and how we can become better versions of ourselves after being through the stage of survival to success and to living a life of significance, where we can leverage the power of storytelling. Welcome to another episode of Making a Difference with Sandra Oko, a live show that brings people on the platform where we can glean from, where we alight and also celebrate and recognize leaders who dare to make a difference from all over the world for doing great things in their world. I believe there's a giant in you waiting to be discovered in a nest. You have within you right now all that you need to become that change agent and best version of you that God has made you to be. It is time to ignite you and discover your greater potential and to see the possibilities that exist within you to maximize your potential through this unique platform for mentoring and coaching, and how we can become better versions of ourselves after being through the stage of survival to success and to living a life of significance, where we can leverage the power of storytelling as a strong communication tool. So let's celebrate these leaders and join us on another incredible segment of Making a Difference live show with your host, Sandra Uko. You're welcome. Holy Spirit. Okay. It's coming up. I think I can see myself so that I think we just go. Why it say view you via audio, but your pictures might not show. So we just have to go find a way to work things around. Thank you so much. I want to plead to our guests and everyone that's watching us all around. So sorry, we have technical issues, but we just have to find a way to get this to work. I'm so sorry, but as this is the way God wants it to be, and so we'll go on. We can't overflow the issue. So I have Donna with me. She's with me in here, but her pictures cannot come on. So Donna, I'm so excited to have you on this show today, but I know that your pictures, your screen is not coming up. Yeah, we'd like to hear from you, your story. Tell us how you all started. I know you have a great story. We spoke some times ago, and we belong to the same family, the Maxwell Leadership family. So we'd like to hear from you how, just tell us in a summary how life has been from you for you, how you went through your trauma, difficult moments, and how, yeah, you're making a success and living a life of significance. We'd like to hear from you, sir. Ma'am?
Absolutely. Sandra, first of all, I would like to say thank you so much for this invitation to be on your show. I so very appreciate you extending that to me. And basically, I guess how it started, as you mentioned in the bio, is that during my school years, I was bullied. I was severely bullied, and I never really told anybody about being bullied. And so I just kind of dealt with it. I prayed my way through. And, I'm so grateful that God kept his hand on me and kept me safe. Although there were many, many lonely days, just feeling isolated. And so after school, after I did complete school, then I began to think of ways that I could help others and provide value to others and really help them with their self-esteem and confidence for the simple fact that I knew exactly what I went through. And so if I could save one person from going, through feeling with their self-esteem low, and if I could encourage anyone, that's what I certainly wanted to do. As far as, excuse me, as far as overcoming some of the challenges, I found myself praying through challenges and journaling. And I always share with people about the power, what I call the power of the pen. And that is just writing things down, right? And journaling. And oftentimes when we find it challenging, especially if we're shy, to really speak our feelings, then many times what we do is we just don't say anything at all, right? But I found that if you write it out and you journal it, you're able to get those feelings expressed and you're able to get those out of you, which is really, it's very therapeutic, in fact. And so, so with prayer and with journaling, that and praying and journaling and declaring, reading scriptures, that's what I do when I'm having a challenging time. And trying to often remember that I am going through. So, meaning that when you're in the midst of a challenge, to know that there is the other side, but the only way to get to that other side is to actually go through. And so that may encourage, someone that is going through, and we really are all going through something. It just depends on the magnitude
True.
of what it is, at that particular time.
And that's true. Like I often will tell anyone that as long as you're living, there would always be times of challenges. And we have people who are just leaving one challenge, entering another one. As long as you're living, you will keep battling, you keep being in that circle, overcoming one, and you get into a bigger one. And that's actually what, tones our muscles, gets us tough and gets us ready. And sometimes when we go through these challenges, they prepare us for others and not just for ourselves. Like Donna spoke about how she was bullied, and today she's helping youths who are being bullied in school, who are being harassed one way or the other, to gain their self esteem and their confidence back. So sometimes when we go through diverse means or diverse challenges in life, it's not just for us. It's yes for us to build us up, but also to be there as a model for others, to encourage others to build their self-esteem and to build their confidence. Thank you so much. The floor is all yours. Let me let you speak on how you continued and how today you are using your skills and your knowledge to impact the world.
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, if I can just kind of back up a second to bullying, October is National Bullying Prevention Month.
Oh,
And so, yes, so on my Blog Talk podcast, I've actually done a series about bullying. And so the first two were mainly about bullying as far as children. And generally, when we hear the term bullying, we think about a child being bullied, someone's threatening them to take their lunch money, or someone is, threatening them that if they don't give them, maybe their shoes or something, that they're going to beat them up. So oftentimes when we hear the word bullying itself, it's usually, the first thing that comes to mind are children. So we did the first two series. We talked a lot about children, the responsibility, why bullies actually bully in the first place. Because I'm always interested in that. Since I was little, thinking, I don't know, Sandra, why is it and how is it that children they can be so mean and say such mean things? And it is just unbelievable to me. Because I've seen kids 5 and 6 years old, and they're bullying other children, and they're threatening them, and they're talking about them in just a really nasty way. And I'm like, where does this come from? So ironically enough, I had a psychologist on with me. We did a couple of episodes. I had to ask him, I said, look, where does this come from? I mean, they haven't even lived that many years, number one. So and he was saying, yeah, well, that is a spirit. I said, yeah, absolutely. And he said, spirits will enter anybody in any age, which is very true. And then also social media is huge. It's a huge market where you're seeing a lot of negativity when it comes to, youth and dares and things of that nature. So just want to just on that bullying topic, and it's so huge, to certainly want to, if you're a parent, and I know you're a parent, to just really be aware of your child, checking in to see if they are being bullied or not, and looking at some of the telltale signs, if they're withdrawing, if they're not quite interested in things like they were, certain things like that. You can kind of tell something is wrong. And Sandra, I don't stop there, because many times we stop there about, how can you tell if my child's being bullied, and if they're being bullied, what should we do? And of course, you should certainly report it if the child is being bullied. They said they've been bullied at school, you certainly want to report it to their teacher. But also, the next question you don't hear very often is your child a bully? Okay. We don't hear that too often.
True.
Yes. So, check in with your child to see. Now, if you ask them, are you a bully? They're probably going to say no. But, of
True.
course I'm not a bully, Mom. Okay. But you overhear them talking to their friends saying, oh, I don't like her. She thinks she's cute. And if she says anything else to me, I'm going to beat her up. And those kinds of things. That is conversation of a bully.
True.
Okay. No matter how you say it. So, because, parents, I've done several parenting workshops, and sometimes parents will say, well, no, my child is not a bully because they don't go around hitting, other kids and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, that's not all. Bullying is, especially now with social media. I was watching a news clip the other day, and there were two girls on there. One was 9, I think the other was 11. And these children were being interviewed, and they were saying, well, I can't do anything right. I can't speak right. I can't dress right because I'm still being teased, everything I do. And the other little girl said that, yeah, it was just really sad. It just really touched my heart when I heard these two girls. And I'm looking at the other one, and she's saying, because she was talking about there was a girl that posted something negative, and parents, newsflash, that's cyberbullying. She posted something negative about her, and then she put some kind of crazy looking face on it, and then she posted it, and then someone else tagged the post, and they added some other ugly things about her. And how she was saying, it just goes on, and it makes you feel so terrible because it's like nothing you can do about it once it gets out there. Well, that is cyberbullying, which is very, very common.
Very common now in the time of social media.
Yes. Yes, and these children, my heart really went out to them when they were saying this. And I'm like, they're 9 and 11 years of age. They should be thinking about only doing their schoolwork and having fun.
Yeah.
Right? They're kids.
And that's why, it bothers me now that you mentioned it. And that a lot of times Christ will always refer that we act like those children. So for them to be acting that way, there must be something, a dysfunctional relationship from home.
Yes.
They don't just speak things like that. Somebody is modeling a mannerism that they are picking up.
Absolutely.
So you might have to check off the home fronts. What is the father, the mother doing? The older brothers and sisters, the cousins and aunties. Sometimes people live in extended homes where they have grandma, grandpas, they have aunties and uncles, they have a lot of extended family. You never can tell where they're copying or picking those attitude and those characters from. Because, it's said that character determine your attitude in life. So if they are emulating negative characters, then you're sure that these ones won't go too far in life. And so the earlier as a community or as a parent, we notice that and stop our kids from doing that, the better for us. And so this does not only mean that your kids, but if you see it around kids around you, you can speak out or speak to their parents to help them. The earlier we're able to address this, the better.
You are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. It certainly does take a village, and it is up to
takes a village to train up a child.
Yes, yes, and it's so important, and you just hit it. I mean, and Scripture says, train up a child in the way in which they should go.
When they're old,
they won't depart.
Sure.
They may and can stray off that path a little bit, but they'll come back to it because it is embedded in them, right?
Yeah.
And so, but you're absolutely right. I know my mom used to have a saying called, apples don't fall far from the tree.
True.
Right?
Yeah, they don't.
So you're right. If you go and knock on the door of one of these children that, is acting out, you'll probably get the same kind of thing coming from the parent.
Sure.
Because they don't fall far from the tree. They might roll out just a little bit. But yes, you're absolutely right. So as parents, yes, we must model it. I mean, we can't do do as I say and not as I do.
Yeah.
I remember I was teaching a class to some children, and we were talking about common courtesies and manners. And so I was saying, make sure that you say thank you and please. And when your mom cooks for you, say thank you, Mom, for cooking dinner. It was good, and so on and so forth. And so I said the same thing when you're in school. Just when you interact with people, it's so important to just have good manners and be polite. And so one of the little boys said to me, it was elementary school, and he said, well, do parents have to have good manners too?
Parents were once a kid, they were once children. And, and then there's also a statement that says, example is what's true, what more than an advice.
Right.
Yeah, because kids, and how they teach them in schools with pictorial diagrams. So they learn from what they see and not what they hear.
That's right. That's right. I told him, I said, sweetheart, yes, they're for everyone. Well, when my mommy tells me to bring her some water, she just screams, "Go get me some water, boy!" And but she didn't say please.
Oh my God! Parents too are also children to their parents, to their own grandparents too.
Yeah, so I told him, I said, well, sweetheart, I said, you know what? I said, maybe she forgot to say it this time. I said, but, when that happens again, you just might say something like, oh, Mommy, you forgot to say please. and then
that was also, that's a better way to say it.
Yes, we have to be diplomatic in what we say. It's not what we say, it's how we say it. And I did not want to I dared not say to him, well, that was pretty rude of your mom. So no, I didn't want to say that.
No, you don't have to. You have to find a way to say to them, so Mommy, you forgot to put please. You forgot to say please.
That's right.
That's a polite way to address. And you sure know that the mom would take that well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because he was telling on his mom, at that point.
For my kids, when they were growing, when they were in school, they taught them what they call the 5 magic words. Please, pardon me, excuse me, thank you, it's a pleasure. These are words you can say to people around you for the things they do. Or you want something from someone, rather than touching a person, you can say, excuse me. Or somebody's blocking an entrance and you want to pass, you don't have to push or touch the person. You can politely say, can you, excuse me, can you make way for me? Those are words that, they need to learn. And, once they learn those words, it becomes part of them. It is said that an habit becomes an habit. What you've done for 21 days becomes an habit. So we can teach them to learn, to relearn, and unlearn negative words and negative attitudes. So once you know the things that they need to drop off, then you have to start teaching them to unlearn it. And there are new things they need to learn. You need to teach them to relearn. They could have learned it in time past and not using the words, but you need to emphasize it and show them what's the importance of what they need to learn. Why do they need to learn it? Kids are very inquisitive. They'll ask you why. Mommy, why? Why don't you want me to go here? Why don't you want me to touch this? So every time they ask us questions, you need to give them good answers. Because if you do give them good answers, they will never go back to them. But if you try to shun them and not give them answers, they will often go back there to find out why mommy is not allowing them to do that. And so one great way to, help the kids is answer their questions, answer their whys, so that they can learn and they can also teach others.
That's right, Sandra. And you were talking about those words, those 5 words. That's why they're considered magic words.
Yeah, they are.
It's because they're like magic when you say please and thank you. And you're so right. So parents, please teach your children to, say the magic words, but also model the magic words. That's
the ultimate. Yeah. Not just saying it, because they tend to do what you do. They tend to copy. They're imitators. Just like we are imitators of Christ. So our kids are imitators. They watch what we do. They don't do what we say. They do what daddy and mommy does. And sometimes when you're not at home, they mimic dad and mom. So this is the way mommy talk. Ah, my kids will always, they'll mimic a pastor, they'll mimic mommy. Okay, I'm gonna act in this form. Who am I acting like? Kids are very funny. They tend to, rank zeros everything you say.
Yes.
So model what you want them to learn.
Yes. And it's, and we know that, parenting is a very challenging job. I mean, it's the only job that I know that you don't need any training, no experience.
No.
Of course, you have no
True.
call out sick days or any of that. I mean,
So, you know what? Just on Friday, a friend of mine told me to go read about Manuel, the father of John the Baptist. That in a speech, in that verse, he said, Holy Spirit, teach me how to teach, what to do, how to bring up this child. And he told me, you've never been a parent of a teenager before. So you don't have to complain. One thing you need to ask the Holy Spirit to teach you how to bring up these boys in the way of God, rather than complaining, rather than seeing it as an Herculean task. Oh my God, go back to the maker of this voice. You're only a custodian. God loved them more than you do love them. So go back to their creator and ask God for the manual to bring them up. Just like Manuel in the Bible, the father of John the Baptist asked, he said, how shall this be? How shall this boy be trained and be brought up? So we also as parents, we can't know it all. Yes, the book, people have been before us, they've written books, but much more than the books we read. The Holy Spirit is a perfect teacher. So when the Spirit of God comes upon you, He will teach you all things that you ought to know. So meaning that when we have the Spirit of God in us, He will teach us, because different kids act differently. There is no one way, no one book, no one manual that you can use to bring up 4 or 5 children of same parents. They are often very different. Just the way the fingerprints are different, so are the children that we have, even from same parents, even identical twins, also are different.
That is absolutely correct. That you are so on it. And they just, like you said, with twins, even they have different fingerprints.
And they act differently. They do.
And right. Can look exactly the same, but have two totally different personalities.
Sure.
And so, yeah. But it's amazing that they will model you. I remember when my son was 4, and I remember he had 3, I think it was 3 other friends of him. We would carpool, and I remember one of the little boys was over, and I heard my son call him, and he called him kind of loud. He said, come here, boy. And when he said that, and he was only 4, I heard myself in what he said.
He has watched you over and over again.
Yes, because I would say, come here, boy. And when I heard him call this other little boy, he said, come here, boy. And I thought, oh, boy, he sounds exactly like me. So I knew that I needed to change at least that tone, right?
Yeah.
Because I heard, when I heard him say, I said, he got that from me. He sounds just like me.
Awesome.
But they do. They learn by what we see and do.
Yeah. I also want to find out from you, when you have those bullying and the sexual harassment, how did you go through those moments? How were you able to regain your self-confidence? How were you able to build it? I'm asking these questions for those going through similar issues like you have been, so they can learn ways they can get themselves back, having back their self-esteem and having their confidence back.
Mm-hmm. Well, what mainly worked for me is I would write out, and I still do this to the day, different scriptures and declarations. They're just all over the place. And I would declare, what God says about me.
Sure.
I also journaled. I would journal and I would study different scriptures. And so that's the main way, because again, during that time, I didn't even tell my mom because I didn't want her to worry about me. And so, and oftentimes kids will do that. They'll know that, my mom was a single mom and there were three of us. And, one of the children always needed a little more, help and assistance and correction than the other two. And so I just didn't want to have to worry her about that. Yes, I felt isolated and lonely a lot of times, but I kind of stayed to myself. I was very shy. Very shy. In fact, when the teacher would call on me, I would start crying. So that was kind of pitiful with the capital P. And when I tell kids that, they go, "No way." I'm like, "Yes way." So, but that's how, like I said, I would just read, study the word, and make declarations and write. I would write out my feelings and journal. As far as in the workplace, oftentimes you don't even hear the term bullying in the workplace. So, in fact, what I did last night on my podcast radio blog talk radio program, which is what is Etiquette Anyway, I talked about bullying in the workplace.
There is bullying in the workplace. It's everywhere.
Yes, absolutely. And we don't really hear it called as such, but it is what it is. And I remember when I was preparing for an interview a few months ago, and the Lord just dropped in my spirit that sexual harassment is bullying.
True.
And I thought, wow. And he just brought this memory back to me that I had just kind of stuffed and not, hadn't even thought about. But when I was in my early 20s, I was working for a couple, and they were a husband and wife team. And so it was an insurance business, insurance agency. And so I would hate for her to leave, because then this is when he would start the sexual harassment. And so it was just crazy to me, because I felt I could not tell her, because that was her husband, right? But I just hated when she said, "Oh, I'm going to go out, for lunch," and I'm thinking, please don't, or take your husband with you or something, but he was just, it was just a horrible experience. And I couldn't really talk to, like I said, I couldn't talk to her. And I ended up talking to someone in the office building, and she, wasn't, really sure. And so I ended up, it had gotten to the point where it was so bad, I had to resign that position. And at that point, I resigned without notice. And it had just gotten to that point. And I had just forgotten all about that until, like I said, I was prepping for something. And it's like the Lord dropped in my spirit. That is sexual harassment. And there are laws. I know that there are at least 31 states right now that have laws on the books about sexual harassment and what you can do about this. And I know that there was one lady that she sent a message to the show last night, and she was saying, I believe she was the one that was sexually harassed for 6 years. I believe it was.
Wow.
But the director of this company that was doing it, I think he had been there, if I remember correctly, 16 years. And this man was not only sexually harassing her, but some other people. But what they said to her is, well, he's been here for 16 years. And so, this is the first complaint we've gotten. So in other words, you must be lying, that kind of thing, right?
Oh my God. He could have been doing it and others are not complaining.
Yes.
And maybe others are just playing along.
Yeah. And so she ended up quitting. I think someone sent a message saying that, what can you do? But there are laws, and you do want to keep complaining is what you really want to do. And you certainly want to keep a timeline and a paper trail, you know, what happened, when it happens, you know, the date and the time and all of that. And it's just horrible. But, you know, and it's been going on for years now. We just saw some of it through the Me Too movement. But it took, you know, someone to really stand up years ago and to really choose determined to keep complaining. And then other women started coming out, and men too start coming out and say, hey, you know, this happened to me, but I didn't say anything because I didn't think anyone would believe me. And that's surely what it is. So guys, if that is happening to you, and that's male and female, you have a right. You have an absolute right to file a complaint. And then, you know, because that does something to you emotionally as well, especially when you know it's happening. And it's like, oh no, he couldn't have done that because he's been here 16 years. So in other words, you're lying. That's basically
that's what happened a lot of times. People are not able to come out because there are no proofs.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there are proofs, the person can lie that he or she did not do or make such an advances to such a person. And when you call that a bully, it's because it's continuous. It's been happening, and the person has been, you know, trying to go through it. And for the person to have come out in the public to speak out, there is something wrong. There is something wrong. Nobody will want to, you know, destroy a man or destroy a ministry or destroy anyone just because he or she wants to. There is always, like often I will tell people, in every rumor, in every conversation, there's always an element of truth in it.
Yes. That's right. That's right.
Yes, there might not be proofs, but there is. If you look further down or you monitor the people closely for some few months, the truth will be out.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of time.
That's absolutely true. And so I tell people, don't stuff that away somewhere and think, you know, there's really nothing you can do. You can really do more nowadays than you can, especially back when, you know, I was dealing with some of that. But I just, in the workplace, I mean, if you have to go to work, right, why not make it a great, you know, kind interaction? And that's one of my platforms, is making the world a polite place to live. And so if we can initiate kindness to others, and the reason that I wrote my business etiquette book, which is What is Business Etiquette Anyway? I wrote that because of observing, you know, over the years, observing and hearing about different situations that were taking place that were just not positive.
Yeah.
You know, combative. I've seen people actually reprimand people in front of others. I mean, just nasty. And
that's nasty.
And I like to say all the time, and I said this in my book too, reprimand the action and not the person. But also, you really should reprimand in private
and not in public.
Yeah, and not in public. And you can praise in public, celebrate that person in front of other people, but reprimand in private. Now, there's one situation, and in fact, this lady that I was just on her show about a month ago, Ramona, she had mentioned. She said, well, what about the times where, you know, people are being really disrespected, and somebody's saying something and it's just really totally disrespected. And sometimes you just have to say something at that time, because many times, if that's the case and other people, no one says anything about it, say that they're, you know, someone's in a meeting and they're offering up racial jokes or, you know, sexual harassment type jokes, and people are laughing at it. Well, that's not funny, because you're agreeing. If you're not saying anything opposing that kind of behavior, that puts you in a position where you're actually agreeing. So that's a whole different situation.
True.
And yes, somebody does need to speak up right away about that and say, you know, you may have said this in a joking fashion, but it's really not funny.
It's not.
You know, yeah. So that's different. But yeah, try to ask people to be ask yourself, are you the peacemaker in your relationships, or try to be the peacemaker as much as possible. And that's how we will make the world a polite place to live.
Even it is said that the good book often says, as much as it lies in your hands, live peaceably with all men. It is within you. You are the first culprit. You must live. Make sure everything you do, try and live peaceably with all men, even if they do not reciprocate the same thing to you. But as much as possible, live peaceably with all men.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
That is absolutely right. And that's, kindness. And kindness, um, peace and kindness, of course, those are part of the fruits of the Spirit,
They are.
you know.
They
And
are. They're needed every day
yeah,
in life.
absolutely. Absolutely. And, and oftentimes, I know at the end of my show, I usually will ask people to initiate an act of kindness. Over the years, people will write and say, or they'll call and say, well, I can't really afford to, take someone out to a real expensive restaurant. No, it's not about that. If you hold the door open for somebody that's
That's an
coming
act of
in behind
kindness.
you, that's an act of kindness, because I've seen people and it's happened to me. I'm walking and I see the doors just, kind of slam and almost hit me. And I'm looking at the person that
Wow.
just walked through the door. It's like, okay, I guess we don't have a gentleman here. But I don't say anything, because, now you say something, people will try to, either you just don't like that.
Yeah.
But if you do, be diplomatic. And I certainly do say thank you. And that's something too, that in the workplace, it's very important to use those same common courtesy standard that you had named, those 5 words,
Yeah.
right?
Five
Magic
much
word.
words.
That's for everyone. And
Yeah. Not just for the children only, but dad and mom, everyone.
that's right. And in the workplace, in the workplace, if you need to walk by someone and somebody's in the way, don't just say, get out of the way. I'm trying to come through. Don't you see me?
Oh,
How about excuse me, please?
yeah.
So
And
yes,
if somebody's talking and you want to make your own suggestion, you can also put your hands up and say, "Excuse me, please," and
right.
they'll give you a slot and a time to speak.
That's right. That's
This has
right.
been an interesting session. Are you sure that I will not bring you back with all the technical issues? I'm sure you're going to come back on my show, maybe sometime in December.
I'll, I'll be more than honored to do so,
Yeah,
Sandra.
but I'm
I think,
excited. God gave us this idea to
yeah,
use the phone to make sure
yeah,
this show goes on, because I didn't want to cut off. I just said we're going to make a way. We're going to find a way to get this to work. Even with the technical issues, we are more than that. And
yes,
I'm glad God gave us the initiative to get this round, work around this. And there's something I want to say before we call it an end. And also, you might be looking at what you want to say to end this show. For those who are just joining us, thank you for being on this show. And then we want to also, there's a word I want to say. Hebrew 12:11 says, now, no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, Never, nevertheless, afterward, it yielded the peaceable fruits of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. Meaning there are no punishment that comes first, very pleasurable or very pleasant. It's often, with pain. But at the end of it, the result that comes thereof is great. So meaning that when we have to, train up these children in the way of the Lord, we sometimes might not spare the rod. It says spare the rod and spoil the child. If they have done something wrong, they need to be reprimanded. They need to be punished, or they need to serve some kind of punishment. And that's why I read this, that there's no punishment that in the first place is pleasurable. But at the end of it, the result that comes thereof is always bountiful, is always with good results. I just thought I should chip that in before we call it today.
that's wonderful. Yes, that is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I'm just in the way I end my show weekly, and that's with one of my favorite proverbs, which is never tire of loyalty and kindness. Hold these virtues tightly, write them deep within your heart. That comes from Proverbs 3:3. I've had people ask me, what do I mean by that? is just to continue. Don't give up on people. God has not given up on
I
us.
don't write them off.
So we cannot give up on others. So just continue to extend kindness to others and, be intentional about initiating an act of kindness every day.
True, true, true. That's awesome. I want to thank our viewers. I also want to thank our guests. Yeah, we are just about wrapping up. And before we call it a day, I want to check if there's any comments. And the comments, oh yeah, Deborah is here, Abiola Fashina is here. Oh, good. Awesome. Thank you so much for being on this show. Thank you for being patient with us. There have been so many technical issues, but we just said we're going to make it work. And thank God you're on this show waiting. I've been listening intently and realizing just how much I was bullied as a child, as an adult, and as an employee at one time. That's Deborah Taylor, my mentor in the Toastmasters. She was also bullied. She said, oh, how someone you don't know can awaken you to issues you don't recognize, but great to become aware. So she's saying thank you for, awakening such thoughts. She's just looking back to her life, past life, how she was bullied at work, even as a child and as also as an employee and also as an adult.
Wow, yes. And it's there, Sandra, and that's definitely why I like to share this information, because it's just happened to so many people. And if I can mention the name of my book I wrote from that, which is called My Forever Affirmations,
Okay.
book and journal. Yeah, that is, I initially wrote the very first one because I was working one summer with a group at Spelman College. And I went in to talk to them about self-esteem and confidence. And so many of the girls were saying, oh, I don't like my nose, or I don't like my hair, or, I really don't like the way I look. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So I said, Lord, please give me something that I can take back tomorrow to encourage these girls with. And he gave me the first affirmation, and I typed it up. I took copies back, and we start declaring these just short affirmations like, I am special, I am unique, I have my own special gifts and talents. There's no one in the world like me. God created me just to be me. So
sure.
Several short, they can remember them quickly. And even though I initially began writing them for youth, I've had so many adults say, well, no, these help me too. We need these. And so,
I need these too.
Yeah, just bursts of affirmations.
They're right and good for the kids too. They're good for everyone. Everyone needs it, not just for the kids. Everyone does need it. Maybe you send me a copy by email. I appreciate it.
Yes.
I can share.
In fact, I think I sent the cover to you. I did.
Yes, I'll check it out when I'm done with you. Oh, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. I also want to thank Evangelist Abiola Fashional. Thank you for being on the show. I also want to thank Deborah. I want to thank you, Emmanuel. And just to mention a few, I want to say thank you to every of our viewers, and also most especially our guests, who was, very calm, even with all the technical issues. I want to appreciate you. Thank you for being there. And thank you for wanting to come back again in December. I appreciate you, Mom.
Absolutely. It has been a pleasure. And thank you again for the invitation. I would just love to come back and share, and just always hoping to add value and to encourage others.
Thank you. God bless you, and God bless everyone. Thank you so much. As we go out in our week, let's make sure and let's dare to make a difference every day. We are made for signs and wonders. We're made to represent. We're made to be an ambassador everywhere we go to. So MADE is making a difference every day. We are made to stand out in all that we do. So let's dare to make a difference in our world. And the world itself will be a better place for others to live. Thank you so much. Have a blessed evening. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you so much, Sandra.
Bye.